Hey YouTube, good morning. Today I am going to make just a simple Mexican breakfast. The reason why I say Mexican is because you will be using some little chiles, which are these little peppers here. Very simple, very quick to make. The only ingredients that you will need and the cooking ware will be my garbage bowl here, because I like to put it in the sink next to me so I can throw out any trash that needs to go in there. A potato peeler and just a knife. Also, what you're gonna need, depending on how many people you are making this dish for, this is gonna be for 2 people, so you can use 3 potatoes. I use 3 because I love potatoes just alone. Also, you'll need eggs. So depending on how many eggs each person is wanting that morning. And then an onion, a room tomato, and a couple of peppers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse these out here in my strainer. And I'm going to rinse them out just to have clean. And also you will need a cutting board as well. So what you're going to do is, what we're basically going to make are potatoes. You are going to make potatoes on the side for your dish. You are also going to make eggs mixed with a little kind of sopita type, which is like a sopa kind of juice. So I've already rinsed these out. I'm going to put this in here. So what you're going to basically do here is you're going to cut up these potatoes. We're going to put them in a little side bowl. We're going to cut this other stuff up here, and we'll go ahead and start from there. All right, everyone. So what we did is we basically just peeled the potatoes here. We rinsed them out. As you can tell, I put them here in my garbage bowl. Makes it a lot easier. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and cut them. We're going to put them in this little bowl here so we can use them for the side. What you also want to do is you want to get 2 pans. I have this one here. And you want to put just a little bit of oil because you're going to cook your potatoes in them. And then you want to get another pan with just a little bit of oil because you're going to make your eggs in that pan as well. So while you're doing this, you can go ahead and have that on low. Just the temperature can start to heat up very good. We're going to cut these, and then we're going to add them to the pan for the potatoes. You can actually cut these any way that you like. You can dice them up into little pieces this way, or you can just leave them like this here and just kind of thin them up, kind of like potato wedges. You can do that as well, and then just cut it halfway, just like this, so that they're a bigger chunk of sizes. I'm actually going to mix them up, so I'm going to do half and half. So I'm done with the potatoes here. I put them in this bowl. Now you're just going to get a potato. Now you're going to get a tomato, and you're just going to cut it. This one, you can do it how you want. I would preferably cut it kind of like you did the potatoes. You do them long and then just cut them sideways, just like this. Only because it's going to become and turn into a soup. So you don't want the tomato chunks or the tomato pieces to be very, very, very small. And you'll see why at the end once you have the tomatoes with the eggs going. So you can go ahead and just cut them like that. You can also cut off the end here if you don't like this part. Okay. Then once you cut them like this, then you just want to go ahead and put them in a bowl, in a little container, bowl, whatever you use. Put them like that. Then we're going to go ahead and cut up the onions. So I'm definitely not an onion person. I will eat it if I feel like it's going to bring more flavor to the dish, or if it's already in there and I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the smallest one here I put the other one in a little Ziploc bag or a little lunch bag, so I can just use this for something else on another day. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just peel this. Please be careful when you do cut onions or peel it. The juices will come, they will get to your eye if you're not careful on it. And then once you're done touching it, wash your hands, because you don't want to forget that you did that, and then you rub your eyes. Also, a trick that I learned is that you can run your knife under warm or hot water and then cut it at the same time, or put water on your cutting board, so that way while you're cutting it, your eyes don't tend to cry out. Okay, so all I did was just cut it. Didn't cut it all the way. I cut it and I cut it halfway. Then I'm going to just put it in here. Next, we are going to do the chiles. On the chiles, it's fine if you mix them up either with your onions or your tomatoes. It's kind of good because you'll let it sit in there for a little bit, so give it more flavor, a little spicy flavor. So what you're going to do is you're just going to cut off the tail here. Put it in your garbage bowl. See how easy the garbage bowl is? And remember, you still have seeds in here, so if you don't really like it spicy, I would recommend for you to cut it in the middle, just this way, and take out the seeds. It's just pretty how it looks when it's in the juice. So I'm going to take out the seeds, and I just kind of just get the seeds like this with the knife and just put it in the garbage bowl. So there you go. So I'm going to do one more, but I am going to leave one with seeds. Just because I do want a little bit of spicy. Look how many seeds that one has. Just because I do want a little spicy or a little heat to it. So I will leave one with seeds. Again, when you are messing with anything that has to do with seeds, as far as these, you want to make sure that you are careful with it when you are taking the seeds out, that the seed doesn't pop back or on your in your eyeball. Believe me, it's happened. Or you don't want to forget that you messed with it, and then you get your hand and you rub your face or whatever you're doing. So you just want to kind of just get the pepper this way, and I usually just cut it sideways so that they're not so much of a little chunk. So you just cut it sideways just like this. And honestly, I think I'm just, well, yeah, let me go ahead and just cut this. But I don't want this whole part. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut half of it. And I'm going to leave the seeds as well. Okay. Once you're done with this, then you'll just mix it in the bowl. I think I'm going to mix it with my onions. Only because the onions already have a little strong smell and flavor to it. So I'm just going to mix this up, and I'm going to have this here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cutting board here in the sink. Rinse it off and rinse off my hands. Okay. So now that I don't need these peppers, I'm just going to put them back. Excuse me. In the little bag, just so that they don't get loose and fall everywhere in my fridge. Okay, so just put these back in the fridge. Okay, so now you have your potatoes, your onions, your peppers, your tomatoes, and your eggs. So let's all go ahead and move over to the stove. All right, y'all, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this one here for the potatoes and this one here for the eggs. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just switch it over just so that I can put the eggs right here ready to go. I'm going to get my spatula. So I have the eggs here. Also, what you want to do is you want to get kind of a little bowl or a plate, whichever is better for you. I'm going to get this little bowl here, since I'm not using this comal, well, this part of the stove. I'm going to put it here so that I can transfer the eggs over there. So what you want to do is you are going to use salt and pepper for your eggs and also for your potatoes. On my eggs, I don't like to put pepper just yet, but I do love to put salt on the bottom because it doesn't stick, doesn't make the egg stick. So I'm going to go ahead and just crack open my eggs, and I'm gonna bring over my garbage bowl right here. So if you do have the temperature high, you might want to turn it down just so that it doesn't keep on popping on you. So this one I am going to fry 3 eggs on this pan. You do want to let your eggs fry for this dish. Okay, so while I have that, I'm going to go ahead and put some salt. Again, I just usually eyeball my salt. I don't know, can't tell you how much it is. I can just tell you what I like. So I'm going to go ahead and let that fry right now. Remember, the potatoes are still on this end. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this back because remember, we want this to fry, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this back here, let this fry at this end. Now that I have the one for the potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and add those because that is going to take a little bit longer to cook. And you just want to just put them in there. Remember to be careful when you do that so the grease doesn't pop on you. Now that you have the potatoes in there, can you see how some of them are small and some of them are a little bit bigger size? I cut them differently. So I'm going to go ahead and put some salt. Again, I'm just eyeballing this. I don't know how much it is. You can just put however much you want. And I'm going to put pepper. I love pepper on potatoes. Not only the way that it tastes, but when it's done, how the pepper is sitting on the potato while you're eating it. Oh my gosh, just love it. Okay. What I'm also going to add here are going to be a little bit of basil leaves. Yes, I know people use this differently, but I love to put them on my potatoes as well because it gives it a more richer flavor. So I use that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the heat to medium, only because potatoes do take a little while to cook. So once I have it like this, don't flip it just yet. Let it still kind of cook on the bottom. So that way when you do flip it, all of this stays on this end. And then when you flip it again, you'll see that it's transferred to the other end. If not, you can put more salt and pepper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this over to this one since we are going to let it sit. I'm going to put this one at medium because remember we put this one on medium. Now that the eggs are frying, this is what you want, guys. You want this because once you mix it with the ending of the dish, you're going to see how it's going to make so much sense. Okay. So remember, it is going to fry, guys. So it will stick a little bit on the pan. But if you put a little bit of oil and salt, see how this is? It's not sticky. Not only that, but because I'm using Rachel Ray, and her pans do not stick. Excuse me. Okay. So you have it going on here. Starting to fry a little bit. You'll see this here shortly. We're going to let it fry for about another 1 to 2 minutes, and then we'll flip it over. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and flip it. It's always best to use a spatula this size because if you have 3 eggs like me, I love to eat 3 eggs when it comes to breakfast. So I like to flip them all together instead of doing it separately because see how it's stuck here in the middle? It's not fun when you have to cut in between because then you could possibly, like this one, how the yolk is already coming over to the next egg. Then I'm going to end up just busting it and it's not going to be considered an over easy egg. So what you're going to do now is you're going to turn it over. See how it's been frying on the bottom? Now it looks like the bottom or the top of the pancake. You're going to let this fry for about 1 minute. Okay, so what you can do is you can kind of just pick up the egg from the bottom, turn it around and see how it looks. See there? Now you want to go ahead and just transfer it over to the bowl. Usually you can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix the potatoes. See how they're looking? So now I'm going to go ahead and just flip them. If you have it on medium heat, you'll see that it starts to brown. So that means that it's cooking. Then you can just mix it however you want. You don't have to be careful with it because look, either way that I mix it, you still see the pepper on there and the basil. So it's good. So what you want to do is you don't want to smush into it. Just flip it this way. Put it back on the pan and then let it cook again. Go ahead and set your timer, guys, for 15 minutes. And then come back to check on it then. In the meantime, since we've already transferred over the eggs to the other one, we're going to put just a little bit more oil in that. Then you're going to add some salt. And then we're going to add the last 3 eggs that we have. Again, you can add 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs, however you want. We don't need this, so we'll put this in the sink. Get everything that we don't need out of the way. Then we're going to go ahead and put some more salt. Really, this is all the salt we're going to need to use for this dish, so we can go ahead and put that up. Remember, get everything out of the way that you don't need. If you have time while this is sitting, you can go ahead and wash your dishes. That way you don't have so much as from when you're done. So we're going to go ahead and let these fry. Alright, so as you can see, they are frying. Again, they are starting to stick a little bit on the bottom. But when you just move your spatula, because you have the salt and the oil, and because these are Rachael Ray pans, they won't stick. So see, what we're going to do is just go ahead and flip them. Just like this. And let them fry a little bit more before we transfer it over to the one that we have the other eggs in. Once we're done with this, I'm going to show you how to make the sauce. Well, kind of like the juicy sauce that we're going to put the eggs in. And then we'll get back to the potatoes once they're done cooking a little bit. Alright, y'all. So the eggs have fried. And we're going to go ahead and turn it around. That's good. So what we're going to do is go ahead and transfer it over. Alright. So those are good to go. We're going to check on the potatoes. They are cooking very good. See there? Oh yeah. They'll be done in no time. Okay. So now that we have this pan going, we're going to get the tomatoes, all of this good stuff that we put in here. And we're going to go ahead and put it in the pan. Just like this. We're going to go ahead and just mix it around together. What you will need that I did forget to mention is at least 1 cup to 2 cups of water and some cheese. Usually you can use the cojeta cheese, which is kind of like a white crumbled cheese that we tend to use for enchiladas. I'm going to go ahead and get this. Just kind of fry it a little bit, grill it, however you want to call it. With this, you do want to... Excuse me. Wow. If you're in this kitchen right now, that's what just hit me. All of the peppers and the onions, it's strong. So you just want to add some salt to this. Okay. You don't want to add any peppers because it's already a little spicy. Alright, so you just want to go back and forth with it. And get it in there. You want to do this for about maybe 30 seconds or so. Just to get the flavor going. And just let it hit a little bit with the flavor. If you guys were in my kitchen right now, I tell you this, the heat just, oh my god, it smells so good. Just got to be careful because it'll make you choke a little bit. So now we have this going. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and add your water to this. You can add about a cup. As you can tell, I had this full to 2 cups, so it left me down to 3/4. And you just want to just let it kind of simmer in there. I'm actually going to put the whole 2 cups only because we have 6 eggs. Just like this. And just let it simmer. Okay. Okay, so now that this has been simmering, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add the eggs to this. So what you're going to do is you're just going to get your eggs and you can go ahead and just slide it in there. Just like this. But just be careful because you don't want the juice to splatter all over you. So now that it's added this way, what you want to do is just get a bowl. Not a bowl, sorry. What you want to do is get a spoon. You can either get a spoon like this or just a regular little spoon. And just get the juice. And just put it this way. And put it over the eggs. It's going to let it simmer on there and it's going to give it more flavor. You don't want to separate it. In this case, you don't want to separate the eggs because they're already stuck together. And it's going to be 3 per person. So it's no point of separating it. So you just want to give it like this. Also, what you're going to do is with your cheese, depending on whatever kind of cheese you want to use. If you want to use cojeta, if you want to use this kind, if you want to use American cheese, it doesn't matter. Then you're just going to go ahead and just put it around. You can put as much cheese as you want. We love cheese, so we're going to put it this way and just let it simmer. As you can tell, it's starting to simmer even more. Okay, so there you go, guys. All I did was just transfer the eggs over. And I'm using these Christmas plates only because with the juice, I have other plates, but I wanted to use these first. With the juice, you'll be able to sit around in the plate. Usually you can serve it in like a bowl type. Kind of like the one that we used for the eggs. Or you can use whatever you want. I just transferred the eggs over. Put the tomatoes and everything on top. Put the little juice. And then transferred the potatoes over. So this is what it will look like. That is it, guys. You have eggs, tomatoes, onions, and peppers with homemade potatoes. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe. Leave a comment of anything that you would like for me to make or questions. See you guys later.